Assalamu alaikum. In the video number 1, we did a very small sketch by hand to look how we can think about planning for our highways for a country, highways and interstate highways, from Ariel map, which include terrains and topographic data, which allow us to do some sort of initial planning to start our TOR and invitation to bid for design and construction. It helps us also to think about our budgets and how much it will cost us for each project approximately based on the market historical data per kilometer, for example, and to give us some insights where we are going and what we can do in the next year, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In this example, we are in a developed country, for example. Here, we don't have highways as high standards or international standards. They have some sort of roads, which is like local roads. And they can't develop their country because they need the highways. So as a strategy, they decided that they will go for highways within the next 5 years to finish most of them. But how much it will cost them to do such big jump? Now, this idea, which is applied to this as a development countries and highways, it's applied to any portfolio management thinking. You will have a plan and you need to achieve this plan, whatever it is, what projects you want to do, even schools, clinics, development of any kind of projects within a certain period, and you have limited budget. And you need to think, okay, what to do first? Which one we go first to do? Because we have limited budget and we have to think about prioritizing these projects. So we come up with this simple sketch here. And after finished in the first video, I complete doing some data about the length of the kilometers and established also the data for the cost of these projects using this Excel sheet. And if you see here, I have the highways 1 to 14, which is in this sketch. We have 1 to 14 highways, and we have other roads, which is existing roads, and they need a big rate, and we will not use them. We will, the decision in the previous planning is we don't want to disturb the current heavy traffic in the current existing roads and upgrade it and disturb the traffic. We need the traffic to be smooth so the economy will not be impacted. And because the terrains allow us, we decided to go with new highways in greenfield areas to develop more areas also as a strategic planning and expand the population and not to be just concentrated around these existing roads. So there is a lot of strategic thinking behind the decisions, and it allow in this scenario to build, for example, Highway 2 and Highway 4 to replace route number 3, okay, and number 4. So by putting this Highway 2 and 4, we are replacing, upgrading number 3 and number 4 as a strategic decision that it will minimize cost. We have one highway to connect these 3 cities, and that's it, with a small link, rather than developing this big, lengthy roads and upgrading them, which also will make a trouble to us by slowing economy through the development. Also, we did think about Highway 3 and Highway 1 as a replacement of Road 2 and Road 1, and delaying the Highway number 13, which is not necessary at this stage, maybe after 10 years or when the traffic needed to do it, but replacing Route 2 and Route 1 here by Highway 3 and Highway 1 in a greenfield, especially between the C and C1 and C6, the capital and the port is heavy traffic already, and any upgrade work here will disturb that traffic, and we don't want to do that. And we keep it for for good traffic also and replacement for the highway here. So we did all this analysis in the beginning in a very small, fast brainstorming in one table using Ariel map and terrains and the populations and the economic data which we know about the cities and the requirements and the existing road conditions. As a client, some clients actually, sorry to see that they will not have experience in-house to give this small exercise to a consultant and cost them $100,000 or $200,000 to do this initial planning for interstate highways. In this scale, it might cost them at least $500,000 to engage a consultant if they don't have the experience in-house to just do this initial planning and then give this initial planning and scenarios to the consultant ready and to evaluate and build on top of it. So after we finish this initial planning through the maps, we come to Excel and we start populate Excel with the data. Now, the plan that we are doing, the first one is the initial planning using the aerial mapping and the terrains and the data, economic data we have. The second video, which we are doing now, using the Excel and see the capability of Excel in helping us in doing this. Notice that I am doing only 14 highways and another 4 roads, which means 16 projects only. That's a very small size of planning and strategic planning for, for a government in 1 year. They might have 100 and 200 and 300 and even thousands of projects to evaluate and prioritize, which is a very big task. I'm here just giving an example how to think about it. Of course, grouping is the best method to do that. So you need to group projects and compare them based on different criteria like locations, size, urgent, maintenance, new, extra. So you can compare apple to apple to prioritize them. So in this one, we have the highways as an example. I might go for next, maybe after we finish this 4 series of videos. Now this is Excel capability and how it helps us to prioritize, which is very complicated to be honest with you and not that simple because as soon as you do it, you need a lot of movement and cut and paste and this and that. And then it's stuck. After you finish, you can't monitor the actual development after that. It's become more complicated. So after we finish this video in Excel, we will go to use Primavera B6 Professional, which we will establish some schedules to reflect this and reflect their budget and distribution of this budget and allocation of budget over years. Now this schedules which will put there just very simple one line only in this stage until later on we will get some new data and start putting some other real schedules to monitor. And this will help us to monitor according to the plan and have a dynamic change control over what we do. Then after we do the P6 professional scheduling, we will go to the P6 EPPM, which has dashboards and portfolio management more capable than the professional version. And we start see this dashboard planning, how we did it, how we really doing this job, how we compare. Now we are comparing here just a very small part of projects, 16 projects, 17, 18, nothing. But it gives us some insight if we are dealing about 100 and 200 and thousands of projects at once. And it will give us a good insights and data in these dashboards to help us prioritize. So what we are doing here, we prioritize as a thinking from the aerial mapping and the design and locations, which is the first video we did before yesterday, actually yesterday published. And today we do the same, but using Excel and including the cost here, okay? In the next stage, we will do the planning using Primavera B6 Professional, which includes some sort of project portfolio management. And we see what it will give us comparing to Excel and comparing to the planning using the location and aerial mapping. And the fourth video will include the dashboards and looking at the big picture in a most capable visual methods. So come back to this Excel sheet now and let's talk about it. What is there in the Excel sheet? As you see here, we have the highways numbers and the roads which is existing to upgrade. And we have the length which is approximate from the Ariel mapping. It might plus minus 10 kilometers based on if there is a change on the survey on the site. The average cost in this country is $2 million per kilometer. Now this cost, it varies from country to country. Some countries will have more, some countries will have less, and some countries will have far, far, far more. But for this country, I'm assuming it's $2 million per kilometer for dual carriageway highway international standard to 115 kilometers per hour minimum and 4 lanes. So this cost in this example is 4 lanes dual carriageway. So 4 lanes each direction. Bridges which is needed. You might have here maybe 10 to 20 bridges even, and some culverts and other facilities in the highway. It's a top international standard, so expect all that to be there. Tunnels, it might vary if there is tunnels if required. Now this tunnels might take the risk, the high cost more, but still this is the average. Now we have the length, we have the average cost, and the total cost for each project. And if you see here, the total cost of the projects, which is the 14 highways, $6.106 billion US. Now, for an average country in the development countries, they will have a $5 billion annual budget to 20 billion, dollar. Now, 20 billion is a lot of money, okay, for a development country. But I would say 10, 15 billion maybe maximum. So if we assume that this country have a 15 billion annual budget, and to develop these highways, it's 6 billion over 3 years as strategic planning. We will plan them, do the studies and design and construction within the 3 years. This is the target. And here we assume that in the first year, we will need only 25% of the cost of the budget, okay? Because it includes some design and initial work, and payments will be after that. Then in the next year, it will be 40%. In the end, it will be 35%. Now, assuming this cost here, it gives us some cash flow, which is using Excel per year. When we go to Primavera B6 Professional, we will have it per month. Per week, of course, but I don't want the details per day and per week. We will monitor it by month and quarter in this stage. During construction is a different story. But in the early stage of planning, we will use month and quarter to develop a cash flow plan and to monitor what to do in this project. Now, this is for the new greenfield areas for the highways. Some of them is still in the same existing one, but most of them are a greenfield. Now, in the upgrade, we said this is the existing highways, or actually what we call it highways, but they are not. It's interstate roads, existing roads. And the upgrade is needed, but to a certain level, and the average cost is $350,000 per kilometer. So the total cost for the upgrade is $316,050,000. Now, the upgrade is not urgent, except in some areas where there is some fatalities or accidents, which is needed really, some works. So some of this budget will go in the first year because some urgent maintenance and upgrade will help to stop accident and also not to deteriorate and make the road worse during the next 3 years. And in the same time, we have to think about our budget. Now, if we are saying, as I said, 15 million, the 15 billion is the annual budget for this country. 15 billion is a big money. And for the highways, they are allocating only 1 billion a year as a start. Now, thinking like this, comparing to other requirements in the government for salaries, social benefits, schools, extra, that's 1 billion means this highways with this estimate will go for 6 years minimum, not 3 years as really we need and we hope. So they have to look for loans or fund to accelerate their work. But the allocated budget for these highways is 1 billion a year. So we have to think about it. If we see here, the first year cash flow is 1.5. So we are short of half billion. Then in the next year, in the second year, we are short about 1.5 billion. Then in the third year, we are short of 137 million. So we have to think different now. We have to prioritize these projects and think what can be done really considering the actual fund, which is 1 billion from the government. And if there is another funds from different sources, then it goes and we do it. Let's go back to the plan. Now, we said between the capital and the port is very important and highway number 1 must go. So let's highlight highway number 1. This project must go urgently, okay? And we should do it immediately, okay? We should do it with no stop. So we'll go home and let's make it red. So these numbers all are red and it is part of our plan for the next 3 years. Now, of course, Highway 1 is linked between the port and the capital, and the existing roads will be used to do, linking to the port. So that's good. Now, we said C3 city is a very important city because it has economic benefits. It might have agriculture, it might have mines, it might have oil, it might have whatever it is there, which bring more benefit to the country. So it needs this traffic and needs a good highway. So 2 and 4 also will go in the first year, and also maybe 5 because it's linked to the border and it's short road because exporting is important. So it's linked to the border for exporting and also to the port. So we go for 1, 2, 4, and 5. Let's see how much they are as a first priority for this planning. 1, as we said, and 2, and 4, and 5, and 2, let me fix this here, sorry, okay, and 4, and 5. Now see, in Excel here, we have to move things up and down to get our results. In Primavera will be a different story. You can move it in one shortcut. So let's highlight here and insert one line. Let me get this one and cut and put it here, okay? And let's move this up. Let's insert here another line, okay? And let us have the total here and give us a number, okay? So far, we have a budget of 279 million first year, half billion approximately second year, and 400 million in the third year. So about 450, 400 million, and about 300 million. So we can add more. So let's insert, and let's insert here. Now let's go and look at the map again and see what other things we should do to link. Now we have the capital and this border, so 7 and 6, they are very big ones. Let's see how much they are cost. Now, what do you think? Which is the first one to go? Number 7 or number 6? Now, because we are doing this here, a good highway can go like this, and then maybe a ring road here, and then go to this one. So we can do number 6 first, even it will be a long one to go for, but it is important also to link the port and the border here, and the capital and the border. So number 6 will go first. So let's bring number 6 up. Let's put it here, and let's see the cost. Okay. And now we are more. Okay, and we still have some money there. So we are still in the average. So let's go and bring number 7 also. Let's bring number 7, cut, bring it here, and let's include it here, and done. And let us bring the total cost, and let's see. Okay. Now, for the 3 years, we still have some money, but this year here, it becomes very high, and this one very high. So let's go again and look of something different now. Now, we mentioned something before that we need to start upgrade this existing one, because this link to this area and this small border here, which is not important border, it's links to a small country which is have not a lot of economic benefits to that. So no high traffic and trucks around. But it's important also to start upgrade here. So we can start Highway 9 and Highway 10 upgrade in the existing roads. See, here we remove the existing roads by new roads. But in this one, because it is low traffic, we decided that we will just go for the same track and upgrade the existing roads to maintain and serve the existing communities here. Here there is another strategic plan to expand the development of the communities and let them spread around. So we need to do at least 20% or 25% in the first year in this upgrade for this ones here. So we go 9 and 10 highways. So let's bring 9 and 10. Sorry. And let me insert. And let's bring 9 and 10. Okay. Now, as you see here, the total cost become 3 billion and 318 for the 3 years, and the first year is still less than 1 billion. Here it's more and here it's more, but because we are doing upgrade only, okay, for this 9 and 10, okay, we will not what you call it, use the total cost for this project in the next 3 years. It's not that urgent. So we might go here for 50% of this road. Okay, so let's say 0.5. Okay, 0.50. Sorry, let's do it in a different way. Multiply by 0.5, and also this one here. So rather than doing it in 3 years, we'll do it in 6 years, unless we have fund to complete it full. Okay, in this case, we have less than 3 billion, and every year it's approximately 1 billion. So the remaining of this year in the first year, the remaining of the budget can be transferred to the second year to cover the second year, and then the third year is sufficient by itself. So by this thinking on what is urgent and giving us some benefit immediately to the country, we establish what we think it's most important to start with as highways. Then, in the same time, we are not ignoring the other regions' requirements. We can just, give some areas some budgets, and the other ones we don't. We can't do that. But there is urgent works to be done, and there is less urgent. So we did that for this area too. So there is some upgrade somehow, and then it goes slow down in. We still have some budget in all cases. The budget here, it still have more than 142 million, which can, if they finish the upgrade and the contractors are really in a good shape to speed up the job, we can give them variation to extend the work further. They are there and we can complete. Okay, so here we did this very fast thinking what we can do comparing project to project, but this is very simple data. It's very simple projects. It's just 14, 15 projects is nothing. You need to think about the big picture. If you have it like this with for Excel for 100 or 1,000 projects, big headache. It's really not easy to do, and there is some software to think about it, okay? And this is the simple way to think about using the existing and available software without incurring more cost. Okay, now if you think about the other ones here, let me delete these two lines and let us limit this from 17. Okay, and in the fourth year we will need less than 3 billion, so we might have extra money, okay, extra money to go for the upgrade for these roads. We see these roads are not that urgent. It's local roads now. After we finish these highways, it will be just local roads, and we don't want to disturb the current traffic, so we keep it as it is, and we do only the urgent fix. So the remaining here about 700 or 644 million, we can use it and distribute it here for this upgrade for these roads within the 3 years. And you see here the total cost here is 316. So if I go equal this plus this, okay, we have 318. So, but this one, sorry, this one is, it doesn't include the real numbers. Sorry. Here, let's divide it by 1,000. And this one's will be the same. Okay, so equal this one, 316 million plus 2 billion and 366. Okay, so it is less than 3 billions for the next 3 years after that. So in this way, we planned highways 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to finish within 3 years, which will impost the economy very significant and help to generate income for everyone, and also to the economic in general. So within 3 years, we finish more than half of the highways, which is 60% maybe of the highways. Even this one are big numbers here. Okay, but this is the most important ones to do in the first 3 years. And after finishing the 3 years, the economy should be really boosting itself with the traffic coming and easy import and export in the difference between the different cities and the borders and the port. And then in the 4th year and 5th year, will be the budget, and the total can be done within the billion budget without any issues. Now, if the governments of this country manage to get loans and fund to accelerate this work to be done also in the first year. And before the fourth year, that will be very good news to them. But getting loans, it's need to be thinking a lot about it and who is going to do it. Maybe if it is from the World Bank or the social fund and the other funds, so they are providing low interest. So here, just thinking about this scenario, developing the interstate highways within 6-year plan, that's a very big jump for a development countries. And if they can manage it in this way, it's a very big jump. And they should think like this: 10 billion or 15 billion budget, annual budget, and allocating 1 billion a year for highways. This will push the country to high standards. When you finish these highways, within 3 to 6 years, it will boost the economy significantly, and it will help a lot to achieve a lot of plans. So I'm sure everyone knows what is the benefit of these highways. Now, that was using Excel in a simple way for a very small data and projects. If we have 100 projects or 1,000 projects, it will be another task because you need to compare a lot of things together. As we said in the previous video, now this is the interstate highways and cities, which is this example. You might have maybe 20 or 30 or 40 highways between the cities. You might have the major cities might be 20 cities, and you need to link them. And that means a lot of network, okay? But again, based on the benefits, you need to think what's coming and who this is prioritizing first and second. Now, this is the first stage for any development country, maintaining a high standard highways for easy movement of goods and export and import and people, and easy access to services. Of course, I'm using just a sketch. I did it by my hand. We might have another softwares to do that and give us more measurements and more data in the same place with GIS system and the economic data. But again, we are trying to do just initial planning to give the coming consultant to build our TOR and give a guideline to the consultants coming to study and validate and start work around this. So we will provide this plan now, as we said, rather here we will doing this with these numbers. Now with this second stage of planning, we know that we will go for this ones as a start. And we will build our TOR around building highway number 1 to 10, to 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10 as a start, and confirm the cost for it later on. And making this is the first bidding for us in the first year. Then after 3 years, we go and do the bidding for the other highways. And as we said, we can do this upgrade also in the 4th year. But based on the estimate of these projects, we might bid this and get us another cost maybe higher or less. And this will have this dynamic view of changing the plans and maybe putting some projects on and delaying them or accelerate other ones. So as soon as we go, we will monitor the results. So this is the first stage. We planned now by the maps in the first video. Now we did just a small planning by Excel and allocate budget like this. And then we will go for Primavera B6 Professional and do the same data and the same scheduling actually, but using Primavera B6 and see the benefits out of it, okay? So I hope if you have any questions to put in the comment. I hope this explanation is helping you somehow, how you can think about your projects as a start, whatever is the type of the projects. If in this map, by the way, if in this map, we might have schools or clinics per area. And we will say this square here, maybe 10 kilometers by 10 kilometers, or 20 by 20, or 50 by 50 kilometers. And we start thinking about schooling and about clinics distribution in this square and how we put them. And we have to think about population, travel time, extra per zone. So whatever is the map you have, you can zoom to a certain area, apply your criteria, whatever it is, and say, okay, in this area, we need this number of schools, we need this number of clinics, and this is the distribution of existing one. This is what we need as a new, this is what we need as maintenance and expansion of the existing one. And you zoom in group by group based on the criteria you are doing. If you have a development as a country, and you are developing certain projects in different areas, and you are having diversity in your portfolio, and you will look at your portfolio in one place and say, okay, in this country, I'm working here, I'm working here, I'm working here, and this is the amount I have, and I want to develop more. For example, if you are working on shops, for example, trading, distribution, logistics supply, material supply, whatever service you are providing and planning, you have it in the map. If you don't have it in the map, you lose control, and you should populate this map with visual data and giving you a clear vision of what's going on. Then you go in details maybe by Excel. I don't like to use Excel, to be honest with you, in planning, but I'm giving this example because people are used to use Excel. I would prefer to work what I did today with you using Primavera, because I built it for once. It will be my plan for the next 5, 10, 20 years. It's there. Excel, by one mistake, you finish. You don't know if the mistake happened. Someone might change the numbers, someone might delete the number. And Primavera has different scenarios, a database. And you have very high security inside it. So you can control what you do. As soon as you build your data correctly, it will be your baseline to monitor. This is Ziad Al-Basir. In next video, we'll go for Primavera and show you what it will give us comparing to this. If you have any question, please put it in the comment. Thank you very much for watching. And please subscribe to have the next two videos in planning for public sector. Thank you very much.